Hey everyone, it's Billy Rude from 58. Welcome to my new series about esoteric symbolism in storytelling. In this series, we'll give deeper insights into the creativity behind storytelling based upon the myth of our life force, or energy that came down and took upon itself matter. These stories are about each of us, and the raising of energy and the evolution back up to the crown, enlightenment. And these stories are so powerful because they speak to our subconscious and create a feeling that reminds us of who we are. And as a filmmaker myself, I always love the creativity and collaborative adventure of constructing a story because it is similar to constructing personal reality. And in this video, I will talk about the film Saving Private Ryan, directed by Steven Spielberg, and the esoteric symbolism of war.
The mother of 5 sons who have died gloriously on the field of battle. I feel how weak and fruitless must be any words of mine that would attempt to beguile you from the grief of a loss so overwhelming. But I cannot refrain from tendering to you the consolation that may be found in the thanks of the Republic they died to save. I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost. The solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Yours very sincerely and respectfully, Abraham Lincoln. The boy's alive. We are going to send somebody to find him. And we are going to get him the hell out of there.
So the first shot of the film is of the American flag through sunlight. The flag of the United States of America symbolizes and foreshadows the greatest possibilities of any flag ever designed. Although there are many flags having the same colors, yet in none are they combined in a like manner. The colors of a flag are like the letters spelling a word, or the notes of music forming a melody, and rallies to it elemental powers and forces belonging to the color in the symbol. The red symbolizes the life force, the martial force, representing all the higher possibilities of the courage, energy, and power of Mars, the masculine forces of the solar system and in humanity, as well as the intensity of love that will fight for a principle. And also the red of Mars is alternated at equal intervals with the white of purity, sanity, righteousness, justice, and brotherhood. This proclaims to the world that Americans will fight if we have to, not because we seek to spill our brother's blood, but for righteousness, justice, freedom, and liberty. And the white is balanced so it blends with the red, that they shall ultimately manifest of the pure rose pink of love, which symbolizes peace attained and maintained, if necessary, by a righteous warfare. It also indicates that war is not the governing spirit, but is blended and balanced in equal proportion with the desire for peace, honorably won and maintained by the higher aspects of Mars. And blue is the color of the great mother force, the power which brings forth and which cherishes all that is beautiful and lovable, as well as those things which the force of Mars energizes. It represents the force of Venus, or mother love energy. And no other flag has the arrangement of these two colors as found in the American flag. Others have the blue, but not in one great mass like a sea of color on which the 5 pointed stars are arranged side by side in harmonious color. And the 5 pointed stars symbolizes man, or the purified men and women. Set in their field of blue, symbolize the gathering together of all of humanity into the lap of the Great Mother. They stand for the united brotherhood, which holds out its arms to all mankind to come and become one of us. In its emblem, this country proclaims to the world that has conceived and set before its children the high ideal and glorious opportunity of becoming the leader in liberty and freedom, and that it offers freely a home for all God's children, a country in which it is to found the new humanity and the new root race. And each of us should be glad that we have a flag with such a wonderful meaning, and each should study its higher esoteric symbology, for it enables each one to say, I belong to a new country, and a new race, and a new people. And the cause of all war is due to the call of spirit or energy descending into matter, the higher self to the lower personality. The matter we experience that causes war is the lower mind, this personality, the energy of the lower 3 seals and chakras, also known as this dragon energy. That is energy that is polarized, like good versus evil. It is always in war and in the mind. The descent of light, spirit clothe itself in matter so that it can express itself and evolve up through matter by spiritualizing it and return to its source. And this inability of the lower vibrations of matter to respond to the higher vibrations of spirit is what causes the resistance until the self-realization of spirit, when then matter becomes finer and more plastic to the responsive expression of spirit. The resistance and struggle is brought about by the human animal instincts and the desires of the senses, which must be mastered and voluntarily submitted to the uplifting and spiritual control of the will. And this mental war manifests in the intellect to temporary refusal of the head to obey the promptings of the heart until we are self-conscious of our reflections. This resistance will remain active and the animal element of antagonism grows until we awaken to our human animal, the unhealed inner child of the mind. Our intellect will be unable to recognize our divinity and receive higher guidance. This is the war manifesting inside all of us between the higher mind, which is divine, and the lower mind, which is the animal soul. This friction is what creates this suffering and personality of polarity, a war-like mind. And the physical manifestation is also expressed in bodily inharmony, illness, or disaster, which is represented in Captain Miller as they approach Omaha Beach. This battle can be seen visually in the first battle, as they have to take the beach of suffering on the lower mind and scale up the trenches up to the higher mind for victory. And those who always lead his followers in triumph over the hosts of opposition are inevitably swallowed up in the sea. It is only fear that holds us back from victory, which is a creation of the lower mind, of the personality. We are the mediator between heaven and the animal consciousness that assimilates the resistance of matter and the views and the arguments of this lower mind. All that is dust, which is matter, will be returned to its source, or the end of our individual wars, once we reach a higher understanding of spiritual knowledge and redemption. It is only through redemption of uplifting the animal consciousness can we grasp the reality of the transmuting power of love and the permanent place of peace which Private Ryan symbolizes. Redemption. It is only through the spirit of love and harmony can we remove the curse of war in the intellect, which is represented symbolically in movies as the mother.
Captain, if your mother saw you do that, she'd be very upset. I thought you were my mother.
In the mental world, the outlet can be found through the emotions. The expression of these emotions becomes a storm of irritation, impatience, anger, jealousy, envy, animal desires, and hate. It leaves us devastated.
Look at this, a Hitler Youth night.
And now it's a Shabbat Holocaust, right?
And when Captain Miller gets his new assignment to save Private Ryan, it represents saving ourselves from the suffering of the lower mind of war.
The 3 men are brothers, sir. I've just learned that this afternoon their mother's going to be getting all 3 telegrams. That's not all. There's a 4th brother, the youngest. He parachuted in with the 101st Airborne night before the invasion. He's somewhere in Normandy. We don't know where.
Is he alive?
We don't know.
It was a tough assignment. That's why you got it.
Yes, sir.
John. I've got another one for you. Yes, sir. This one's straight from the top.
It is then he meets Corporal Upham, who represents our spirit as we first enter this reality of the mind, this war. His innocence, the lack of experience, and undeveloped willpower begins his journey as he is more of an observer to circumstances presented to it. And as they journey into their mission, we then learn more about the purpose of war, this reality.
Corporal, what's your book about?
Hey, what's your rifle?
Actually, it's supposed to be about the bonds of brotherhood that developed between soldiers during war.
Brotherhood? What do you know about brotherhood? Get a load of this guy, Fish.
The bonds of brotherhood and humanity. As they continue, their lower minds start to question the purpose to their mission and their life.
You want to explain the math of this to me? I mean, where's the sense of risking the lives of the 8 of us to save one guy?
20 degrees. Anybody want to answer that?
Private, think about the poor bastard's mother.
Hey, Doc, I got a mother, all right? I mean, you got a mother, Sarge has got a mother. I mean, shit, I bet even the captain's got a mother. Well, maybe not the captain, but the rest of us got mothers.
There's not a reason why, there's but to do and die.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean, Corporal, huh? We're all supposed to die, is that it?
Upham's talking about our duty as soldiers.
Yes, sir.
We all have orders and we have to follow them. That supersedes everything, including your mother's.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Again, the mother means the heart. And when Private Caparzo takes the little girl because she reminds him of his little niece, this represents the inner child, the mind of war, turmoil, inharmony, and death. It is being taken away from her mother and father in war. All real success and evolution in man is gauged by how successful we are at mediating between spirit and matter, the higher mind versus the lower mind, which is represented by the rationalization of Captain Miller and Sergeant Horvath.
Do you know how many men I've lost under my command?
How many?
94. But that means I've saved the lives of 10 times that many, doesn't it? Maybe even 20, right? 20 times as many. And that's how simple it is. That's how you rationalize making the choice between the mission and the men.
Except this time the mission is man.
The mission is you. It is love, which is beautifully expressed by the character in Medic Wade talking about his mother, which symbolizes our heart and the ignorance of it.
Well, actually, the trick to falling asleep is trying to stay awake.
How was that way?
Well, when my mother was an intern, she used to work late through the night, sleep through the day. So the only time that we ever got to talk about anything was when she'd get home. So what I used to do, I used to lie in my bed and try to stay awake as long as I could, but it never worked because the harder I tried, the faster I'd fall asleep.
Yeah, well, that wouldn't have mattered none in my house. My ma, she would have come home, shook me awake, chatted me up till dawn. I swear that one was never too tired to talk.
That's probably the only time she could get a word in.
Funny thing is, sometimes she'd come home early, and I'd pretend to be asleep.
Who, your mom?
Yeah. She'd stand in the doorway looking at me, and I'd just keep my eyes shut. And I knew she just wanted to find out about my day, that she came home early, just to talk to me. And I still wouldn't move. I'd still pretend to just be asleep. I don't know why I did that.
We are asleep until we listen to her, our heart. And this scene represents the selfish nature of the lower or heavy mind of matter.
We came down like a fucking meteor. And it's how we ended up. And the others, they stopped easy enough, okay, though, you know. We were just too damn heavy, you know. Grass was wet. Downward slope and all. 22 guys dead.
All that for a general?
One man.
A lot of that going around.
Fubar.
Fubar.
Fubar. Fubar.
Y'all got that right.
Which causes casualties, death, selfishness, and emotional imbalance and neurotic behavior. When you act out of this lower mind and only want to win the war, there's always going to be a loser, which is symbolized in this scene.
So, Captain, what I'm trying to say is, why don't we just go around the thing?
I hear what you're saying. But we can't go around it.
I'm with Robin on this one, sir. I mean, we left them 88.
For the Air Force, the Air Forces are going to spin ordnance on one machine gun.
Captain. We can still skip it and accomplish our mission. I mean, this isn't our mission, right, sir?
Oh, that's what you want to do, Malish? You just want to leave it here so they can ambush the next company that comes along?
No, sir, that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying it seems like an unnecessary risk given our objective, sir.
Our objective is to win the war.
Sir, I just, I don't have a good feeling about this one.
When was the last time you felt good about anything?
This is what creates more war, emotional pain, trauma, and confusion.
Mama. I want to go home. I want to go home. Mama.
And this imbalance is perfectly expressed in this scene, representing the mind of Captain Miller, which always wants to quit and give up out of ignorance and separation of the mind and heart.
Bitte nicht. Ich will mich ergeben. Vater unser im Himmel geheiligt werde dein Name, dein Reich komme.
Sir, you're gonna let them kill him? This is not right.
You can help me with the bodies.
What is happening?
And Corporal Upham is then trying to become the voice of reason and to keep in balance, but you see it becoming more difficult for him as the polarity is getting to him.
Tell him to march 1,000 paces in that direction. Then he can take off the blindfold, we'll be gone. If he turns himself into the first Allied patrol he comes across.
You gotta be kidding me. We'll let him go?
He's a POW, Ryman. Can't take him with us. Our guys will pick him up sooner or later.
Cap, you just let the enemy go.
This is such bullshit. Y'all got that right.
Bullshit. Yeah. Right, this is bullshit. Shooting prisoner, that'd be okay.
Shut your
That's
mouth.
against the goddamn rules.
Yeah, well, the goddamn rules just walked off with your new friend. But I guess that was the decent thing to do. Huh, Captain? Yes, sir, that was one hell of a call coming to take this nest, but the hell, we only lost one of our guys going for it. I swear, I hope Mama Ryan's real fucking happy knowing that little Jimmy's life is a little bit more important than two of our guys. But then again, we haven't found them yet, have we? Have we? Here you go. Get the hell off me.
Ryman, get up. Gear up. Fall in.
I'm done with this mission.
Don't you walk away from your captain. Raven, get back in line.
No, sir. I'll spend the rest of my life in the stockade if I have to, but I'm done with this.
I'm not gonna ask you again, soldier.
Captain! Now this is bullshit.
Fall in.
You gonna shoot me over, Ryan?
No, I'm gonna shoot you because I don't like you.
Sir, listen, if he wants to go, just let him go.
You gonna shoot me?
Are you letting this happen? Captain, you see this?
Captain. Sir, Ryan's dead.
Bullshit.
So we have a situation
That is
here.
bullshit.
Get in on.
Captain, I have a sixth sense about these things. I know it in my bones.
We don't kill that son of a bitch crab, now you're gonna shoot me.
Huh? He's better than you.
Then why don't you just do it, Sarge? Do it, man. Put one in my leg and give me that $1 million.
I'm gonna shoot you in your big goddamn mouth.
Well, put your money where your mouth is and do it then.
Shut
Do
up.
it.
You don't know
Pull
how
the
to
trigger
shut up.
already.
Captain, please.
What's the pool on me up to?
You are a coward, son of a bitch!
I'm waiting, Sarge.
Mike,
I'm
what's
waiting.
the pool on me up to right now? What's it up to? What is it, $300? Is that it? 300? I'm a school teacher. I teach English composition. This little town called Adley, Pennsylvania. The last 11 years, I've been at Thomas Alva Edison High School. I was a coach of the baseball team in the springtime. Back home, and I tell people what I do for a living, they think, well, that figures. But over here, it's a big mystery. So I guess I've changed some. Sometimes I wonder if I've changed so much, my wife is even going to recognize me whenever it is I get back to her. And how I'll ever be able to tell her about days like today. Ryan, I don't know anything about Ryan. I don't care. Man means nothing to me. It's just a name. But if, if going to Ramel and finding him so he can go home, if that earns me the right to get back to my wife, well, then that's my mission. You want to leave? You want to go off and fight the war? All right. All right, I won't stop you. I'll even put in the paperwork. I just know that every man I kill, the farther away from home I feel.
And when we don't learn from these wars of the mind, we lose our sense of self, who we really are, and get further and further from our home, our heart. And then when they finally meet Ryan, they understand the importance of their mission and their desire to go home.
What's this all about? Ryan lost his brothers. Which one? All of them.
You came all the way out here to tell me that?
You're going home. Our orders are to bring you back.
Bring me back.
Corporal Henderson, don't mean to leave you even more shorthanded, but orders are orders. Any communication about when you're going to be relieved up here?
Sir, there's no way to tell. I mean, we have no idea what's happening south of us.
I have my orders too, sir. They don't include me abandoning my post.
I understand that, but this changes things.
I don't see that it does, sir.
The Chief of Staff for the United States Army says it does.
Sir, our orders are to hold this bridge at all costs. Our planes in the 82nd had taken out every bridge across the Murderette with the exception of 2. One at Valone and this one here. We let the Germans take it, we're gonna lose our foothold and have to displace.
Private, your outfit wants to stay. That's one thing. But your party's over here.
Sir, I can't leave until at least reinforcements
You
get
got
here.
3 minutes to gather your gear.
Sir, what about them? I mean, there's barely hardly enough of this.
2 of our guys already died trying to find you, all right?
Sir.
That's right.
What were their names?
Erwin Wade and Adrian Caparzo.
Wade and...
Caparzo.
Doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, sir. Why? Why me? Why do I deserve to go? Why not any of these guys? They all fought just as hard as me.
Is that what they're supposed to tell your mother? When they send her another folded American flag?
Tell her that when you found me, I was here, and I was with the only brothers that I have left. And there's no way I was gonna desert them. I think she'll understand that. There's no way I'm leaving this bridge.
Which is the spiritual journey, the mission of saving ourselves from the war of the mind. And Ryan's brothers represent the 3 lower chakras, the energy of suffering, this lower mind. When Private Ryan learns about their deaths, he decides to do what is right in his heart, to not give up and protect his brotherhood of men from defeat. And Captain Miller and Sergeant Horvath stay to help protect this bridge, which is the bridge from the lower mind to the higher mind and the journey to their heart. And saving Private Ryan is the mission for all men and women.
But another part of me thinks, what if by some miracle we stay and actually make it out of here? Someday we might look back on this and decide that saving Private Ryan was the one decent thing we were able to pull out of this whole god-awful shitty mess. That's what I was thinking, sir. Like you said, Captain, we do that, we all earn the right to go home.
Brother.
To save yourself from this war of this lower mind, this personality, to heal our father, our mind, and connect to our mother, our heart. But it takes higher awareness, mental sharpness, and willpower, which is represented in this last test, this last battle to protect this bridge. And I love this little scene, the quiet before the storm, which represents the search for love when they listen to the French singer and songwriter Edith Piaf.
Even life itself only represents you. Sometimes I dream that I'm in your arms.
What was that part? She sang that before.
Of course.
Of course.
And you speak softly in my ear. And you say things that make my eyes close. And I find that marvelous.
Again, Papa, to be honest with you, I find myself curiously aroused by you and...
Marvelous. No, it's it's a really melancholy song. At the beginning of the song, she says, and then one day you left me, and I've been desperate ever since. I see all over the sky, I see you all over the earth.
Then it is also expressed in one of my favorite scenes, where we learn more about Private Ryan and his brothers.
When I think of home, I think of something specific. I think of my hammock in the backyard, my wife pruning the rose bushes, and a pair of my old work gloves.
This one night, 2 of my brothers came and woke me up in the middle of the night. They said they had a surprise for me. So they took me to the barn up into the loft, and
There was my oldest brother, Dan. With Alice, Alice Jardine. I mean, picture a girl who just took a nosedive from the ugly tree and hit every branch coming down. and Dan's got her shirt off. So he's working on this bra and he's trying to get it off, and all of a sudden Sean just screams out, "Danny, you're a young man, don't do it." And so Alice Jardine hears this and she screams and she jumps up and she tries to get running out of the barn, but she's still got this shirt over her head. She goes running right into the wall and knocks herself out. So now Dan is just so mad at us. He starts coming after us, but at the same time, Alice is over there unconscious. He's got to wake her up. So he grabs her by a leg and he's dragging her. At the same time, he picks up a shovel and he's going after Sean. And Sean's saying, "What are you trying to hit me for? I just did you a favor." And so this makes Dan more angry. He tries to swing this thing. He loses the shovel, goes out of his grasp, it hits a kerosene lantern. The thing explodes. The whole barn almost goes up because of this thing. That was it. Dan went off to basic the next day. That was the last night the four of us were together. That was 2 years ago.
And what love means to Captain Miller, which he is unable to express in words.
Tell me about your wife and those rose bushes.
No. No, that one I saved just for me.
We have to learn how to conquer this lower mind by developing willpower, which is represented by Corporal Upham and Private Mellish. When we just sit back and do nothing, our mind suffers and becomes open to abuse and attack and death. We become helpless and afraid for the rest of our life. Can't just sit around and watch our mind die. We have to learn how to take control of our mind, or else we will lose our innocence and become warlike, just like Corporal Upham at the end of the film.
Upham!
Hold up. Now spin that!
He became what he witnesses, instead of realizing he is the witness, the observer. We then forget who we really are. Then, when the planes arrive, we see a beautiful scene when Private Ryan is with Captain Miller during his last breaths. Captain Miller becomes selfless and sacrifices his life to save another, the symbol of pure selflessness and love. Those who have sacrificed and suffered their life for an ideal are redeemers for the human race. They are dying so the race may be purged from the war thought and the curse of militarism.
They're tank busters, sir. P-51s.
Angels on our shoulders.
What, sir?
James. Earn this. Earn it.
They bring about the great realization of the needlessness of war and the desire for a higher life, a divine life of love. The evolution from war between the light of wisdom and the darkness of ignorance, unselfishness and selfishness, the good of the whole and the ambitions of the few, the angel of peace and the dragon of material force. Right and might is the mission for all mankind, every Private Ryan. And this is explained symbolically in this film. The eternal struggle for life, for good.
Tell me I have led a good life.
What?
Tell me I'm a good man.
You are.
Then the film ends with how it began, the symbol of the American flag. When we all realize the significance and the harmony of the red, white, and blue, and become the purified men and women which it stands for, the United States will become a brotherhood in leading peace and liberty for all mankind and the birth of this new root race of permanent peace. And if you'd like to learn more about healing this lower mind, join me in my weekly meditations to help end worry and fear in the mind that adds to the world's misery and create a happy, courageous heart with seeds of harmony and unity. Learn to send out your aspirations, love, and compassion so it can help dispel others' fears and create a happy and peaceful life with spiritual power that will end all wars. Then just watch and expect positive results. Remember, our hearts must respond, not the mind. It is in silence the future is created. And thank you for watching my series about esoteric symbolism. And please don't forget to subscribe and join my Patreon for more exclusive content to empower your life.